initial thing that was on there, which I'll do, is I'm going to sort of a gift to all you guys, give you some idea of something to play with. And you're all going to have to stand up. You can move. Normally in a class I would get people to actually move around and get the blood flowing a little bit, but since we don't have that time for this, I'm just going to let you stand up and that'll be enough, okay? So, the idea is this. I'm going to be pointing out to you what's called in Chinese, the Tandian, or in Japanese called the Hara, which, if any of you have done yoga, you're aware of the chakra system. This is the second chakra up. This is the sacral chakra. And it's just a way of becoming aware of it, because we consider it, in martial arts and many other traditions, consider it the focal point, the center point of your physical body as well as your energy body. And so when you come into your center, you can have a grounding to take care of any other situation that might come your way. And the way you find it is to do this. Put your thumbs together like this, put your fingers across like this, and then put your thumbs in your belly button. And then let your hands come down, and where the fingers cross, right in the middle of that is the dantian. That's the center point right there. So it's the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, that's halfway. And what you do is you keep your hands here, and then when you breathe, imagine the statues of Buddha where the big belly, you breathe in and the belly expands. You breathe out and the belly contracts. You do it very lightly, and we're going to just do 3 breaths together. I'm going to lead the breaths, be really loud. I have to be loud, you don't. And notice how you feel now, and then notice how you feel in just 3 breaths from doing this. Okay? So, ready? Everybody breathe out. Here we go. Hold it. Out. Hold it. In. Out. Hold it. In. Hold it. Out. And hold it out, and then go back to normal breathing. Now, you can sit down, but do you notice how that changes the state of mind? Immediately you come into your body more. Immediately you become more aware of the present moment. And that is a crucial aspect of everything the martial arts develops from that point. And again, from the itinerary that I laid out, weeks ago, was the idea of sort of the tradition of how it came about in the world was very much out of 2 traditions, Buddhism and Taoism. And the idea of them is that they were groups of people that would go and live in a temple monastery situation, and they'd want to be able to live in peace and develop themselves in their own personal development in towards what you might call selfhood, enlightenment. But of course they lived in a world, as we all do, where there is dangers out in the world, and you have to deal with those dangers. And they decided that one of the ways to counter that reality of having dangers to be dealt with is to use martial arts as a way to preserve their health, as well as the ability to deal with things that would come their way that they may not want to, it may not be pleasurable to deal with, so to speak. And they found that the marriage between those 2 things was perfect. It was an absolute perfect union, because the more you develop your ability to defend yourself physically, the more that your mental abilities to own yourself and take care of yourself and not get caught up in fear and doubt and to let go of all the things that hold you back become entwined. So the body becomes just a vehicle for all of the expressions of these higher philosophic concepts that come out from Taoism and Buddhism's ideas towards enlightenment. And so when I look at somebody now, I look at the body and I just see the body as a representation of the mind. There's no difference to me. And so you train your body, you train your mind. Those things work hand in hand. We're all pretty much aware of this to some degree. So all I want to do then is to finish it off, because I know I have limited time, is to just show you a little bit about how the body can mirror the concepts of Buddhism and Taoism in the philosophy of being pacific, being non-violent. Even if violence is coming at you, you're still actually staying in your center and not becoming violent yourself. And most of that is to do with the mirror idea, that you simply mirror something. The idea that if somebody throws something at you that you don't want to accept, which is their right to do, by the way, you cannot tell people what to do, and that includes the idea that if they want to throw something at you that's negative, that's their choice. You can simply mirror it back to them and say, I don't want it, you take it. That's not a gift I want to accept. And often in Buddhism, in martial art Buddhism concepts, they'll say that a punch is like a gift, because it's something that's being thrown at you but you don't have to accept it. And that's one of the great tools to self-confidence in this level, is to say, I know what I want, and I know that that isn't it. In Buddhism, there's the 4 Noble Truths, but then there's also the Eightfold Path. Well, we use 8-directional path concept, which means that there's 8 directions anytime I'm facing any situation. So if I'm facing this way, I have a direction straight in front of me, to my side, behind me. This side, that makes 4 90-degree angles. You cut them in half, you get 8 directions. It's like the compass noodles kind of thing. So that idea is important too, okay? So you want to come over here, please? Now, what I need you to do is really simple. Is the first thing is, I don't have the right to tell him what to do. He can do whatever he wants. My choice is to decide where I want to be in relation to what he does. So you're pretending to be the bad guy in a sense, right? Okay. So all I need you to do for this concept is simply, I'm going to stand here, and you're going to put your, let's say right hand. You're just take your right hand. You're going to reach right for my throat. Okay. So go ahead and do that. And I go like this. Now, you're reaching to a point, and you're going to run out of room, right? You're not going to get me. So you got to step a little closer and actually do it, okay? And I get out of the way. See, he keeps going. I'm out of the way. It's that simple. I'm just going to take my center and turn it over here. I don't want to have to deal with that. Now, it doesn't mean that he can't change direction. So I might want to, I know about life. I know that he might, I'll pull back or something. So I'm going to say, just as an insurance policy, that I'm going to, you do it again, okay? Do it again. I'm going to just put my hand here. And that makes it very difficult for you to do anything else without me being very on top of it. So if you tried to hit me or something, I'm right there. Now what that does to you, and this is a beautiful thing, and I'll probably finish off with this because I'm running out of time, right? Like, how much time do I have?
I'll keep going.
Okay. So one of the things about this is showing is that as he does that, he's exposing himself to being vulnerable. Human beings cannot attack another human being without giving up vulnerability. And this is an inherent part of this. So if he reaches for me, okay, so do it again please, here, and I get out of the way, all of this is exposed. And if you guys know anything about pressure points, there's a whole line of them down the side of the ribs here. And so I can just go here and go boom, and then, oh, that's not going to feel so good, and you're not going to enjoy the result of that. Plus, do it again one more time, please. Plus, this is the final one.
This way, it's just so we're in the camera.
Okay, this is the final one. So you go do it again, okay? So I go here, boom, and I go boom. And that gives you a moment where your brain stops thinking about what's happening. So you're not thinking about what's happening, and I can come up here, I can grab your hand, I can go here, and I say, sit down. Okay? Thank you. That's all I needed from you. Thank you. Okay?
Thank you.
That demonstrates the concept very simply. It's very simple. It doesn't mean that it's easy to do these things. But life, it may be enjoyable, but it's not simple. We all know that. But when you learn these things, you learn more about the control of yourself. You learn more about the control of what's coming your way. And over time, that just becomes an endless thing. My teacher always talks about the idea that the path is such that it's like a ladder. And as you climb the ladder, you look up and you see infinity. And you look down, you see infinity. The important thing is to keep climbing. Because it's just endless. It's an amazing process to develop. And it always reflects mind, body, and spirit. So you learn how to move your body. You learn how your mind can get out of the way in different things. Do I get like 2 minutes, 1 minute, or something?
2 minutes.
Something like that, okay. Okay, so the final thing I'll throw at you guys is something else that I did put on the itinerary. And it's actually because a lot of you, well, all of us here are something to do with health is kind of the idea, right? And that is that the Chinese medicine tradition and martial art tradition actually are basically reflections of each other. There's not really any distinct line. You can say that this is one tradition and this is another. And the reason for that is both martial arts and Chinese medicine were just really interested in developing and understanding how the physiology and the energy of bodies of the human being work. How does health work? A martial artist wants to live at a very high level of health. That's the point of self-defense, is to stay at that level of health. Even if somebody's throwing fists at you, you're going to stay healthy. And so they would exchange information, and then eventually they just became one and the same. So that all of the great martial art masters would also often be Chinese doctors, if not completely qualified, pretty close. I myself can do acupressure, massage, release. I can work with a bit of Reiki type energies as well. It's just part of the natural process. The hand that heals is the hand that can hurt, so to speak. It's the same idea, because it's all the same concept. However, the people that really would get into the Chinese medicine stuff were often considered crane practitioners, white crane particularly, because cranes, if you think about the way a crane stands, and it's on one foot, and like the Karate Kid, right? It's very about centered balance, and then you peck at pressure points. So you have to be highly aware of pressure points as you develop that type of martial art. So that's a very common one for that. I myself teach karate and tai chi, which are very influenced by the crane styles as well as dragon styles and tiger styles and all these other interesting little animal derivatives. But the concept to me though is that both karate and tai chi, and I do teach old style jiu-jitsu as well, are all very human styles. You might mirror a bit of an animal's energy in a sense, but really it's to 2 arms, 2 legs, standing upright. The concept of holding yourself in that center is really how it works. And the only thing you ever fight is yourself. There's no fighting anybody else. That's another terrible concept, and I don't agree with competitions. You fight yourself. Every time you do a move, you're defeating your own doubt. You're defeating your own, very similar to the NLP concept. You're reprogramming your subconscious through physically engaging in that process. And I do classes just over here on Broadway, and I have cards, and if you're interested in trying class, I always give people a free class, and I will... Thank you.